Hi, I'm Bishop Joanne Tillman Hooper of the Ridge Hill Worship and Deliverance Center in North Augusta, South Carolina. We would love for you to join us. Our services every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock sharp. We would love to have you come and be a part of what we're doing. I stopped to do this podcast simply because about 4 years ago, God dealt with me about Revelation, the fourth chapter, and the seventh verse. And it was real, surreal to me on what he was dealing with me with. He dealt with me with the lion, which represent the church. And he dealt with me with the eagle, which represents our economics. Then he dealt with me with the calf, that's dealing with our educational system. Then he dealt with me, the head of a man, which is our government. And then he began to tell me to work in those areas. These four entities are at they're at a critical stage at this point in our lives. And we as a people, we broke these systems. So then he dealt with me about, can we fix it? Can we as the people of God fix what we have broken? And I believe in my heart, because of the word of God declares that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, that we can fix the issues and the problems of today with going back to the basics, going back to our foundation, and begin to interject our beliefs with what it is that God is saying. And I have with me on my panel my grandchildren. Wow, that's amazing. It's not often that you get to hang out with your grown grandchildren and my great grand, and hoping he's gonna stay in with us and not take over. But I would love for them to introduce themselves to you.
I am Trevor Goldwire.
I am Tierra.
But why?
I'm Selena Pixley.
And these are my grandchildren, and they're here with me, and we're gonna have a conversation on
Economics.
economics.
And mostly focusing on the finances, the financial side of things for the most part.
Yeah, our finance. And a lot of us can say, okay, with the job industry, the way that it is, with having to pay so many extra things out of our paycheck, and so often we're working from, a lot of people working paycheck to paycheck and can barely make ends meet. So those are areas in our life that we have broken, because a lot of times we want to be like the Jones, or we want the latest cars, we want the biggest houses, and we want furniture that is in showcase. So a lot of things we broke, we put ourselves out to be, and there's nothing wrong with having things. The thing of the matter is not allowing the things to have you, as to where you have to work so hard to try to stay ahead, but learning how to appreciate what it is that you've been given, and allow God to work on you. And I realized that you know the Bible declares that we will prosper and be in good health even as our soul prosper. But we got to also understand how it is that God has set up for us to succeed in everything that we go to do. And that's one of the things I try to teach my young adults how to save. The only way you're going to get ahead is you learn how to save, and you learn to invest in things that's going to bring in a harvest.
I used to love that saying you always use where you said your dad used to say, if you get you a penny, you can get you a nickel. Get you a nickel, you can get you a dime. Get you a dime, you can get you a quarter. And all so far, you're good.
Exactly. That was one of the things that my dad always told us. If you get rid of everything, you have nothing to bring in anything. I'm a strong believer that money marries money, and that you can only receive when you got something that that it can bind. Money marries money. If you don't have money, you have nothing to marry. Yeah, and that's and that's one of the biggest things. It's not how much money you save, it's learning to save. It's learning to take advantage of what it is that you've been given. I can't see a person working 40 hours a week and can't save some of their earnings. All of their earnings going to paying bills or going to trying to, have the biggest um the biggest of anything that so we can show off. Sometimes I think, yeah, maybe y'all can help me. Sometimes I think people try to show off more than anything. You can't afford that luxury car, but you go buy it, and then you don't know what to do. Or you go buy that big house, and all of a sudden you no longer can afford it. So I think what we as a people must come to understand is we have got to live where we are. What y'all say?
I think a lot of people are just naive. I believe a lot of people are just naive when it comes to finances. Because you think about the first time you went and purchased a car on your own, or the first time our parents purchased a car, even the first time we purchased cars, and we had a pretty decent understanding of what we were getting ourselves into. But a lot of working class people don't have a good understanding of money and what it does and how you should spend it. The biggest thing is houses and cars. The average person has a house, has a car. Now, a lot of people have a rule of thumb that says if you can't pay for the car 3 times over, you can't afford it. People are they look at it, they're like, I can afford the monthly payment, I can afford it. So some people's views of affording things and taking care of things are different. You see those people who can pay for a car 3 times over before they go buy it, they tend to be more financially free. They're not living paycheck to paycheck. But there are people I'll say in our situation, who buy cars and, maybe couldn't afford to buy them 3 times over before they went and got them. And then you have some people who go and get cars and they just don't weigh up the maintenance. They see, just throwing out a huge car payment, they see an $800 car payment. And they're like, oh, I can afford that. They're not thinking about the cost of gas. They're not thinking about the cost of the tires, the cost of the oil changes, the cost of insurance. The transmission blows up. Like, they're not thinking about the maintenance behind it. It's the same thing with a house. People go and buy homes and they don't think about, what if your water heater blows? How much is the insurance for the home going to cost? God forbid, I don't know, a tree falls on your house. Landscape. Like, no one thinks about the maintenance in all these situations. And I think that's the biggest thing, is most people just don't know and aren't taught all of the little things that make up these big purchases.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think it's like what you're saying, money marries money, but throughout my years of watching other people and stuff like that on the internet, or even just like with other adults and whatnot, you really can see that if you don't like I said, put away enough to be able to have something to where you can invest it in something you always stay in that same place. Say like I do automotive type stuff. That's what I like to do, and that's nothing but money. That's just money that you got to put into it, and that's the only way you can have content. You can't have content without spending some form of money. You can't. It's not just oh hey guys, I'm on the camera, I'm about to just talk to you. People's like, where the action at? I want to see what you're doing with that vehicle. And that costs money. So that's where you have to think of it more as an investment rather than you just doing something. Of course, you're having fun doing what you want to do, but you're investing your money, your time into it for it to be, eventually pay for itself, where you're not coming out of pocket with your own personal money. With that, so now your money is making you money, and your dreams are making you the money, so you can afford to be able to pay for that and have a really good living, I should say.
That's one of the things. You're talking about drifting, right?
No.
You're talking about paying
all of it in general.
Okay, everything with the parts.
It's even like this, like the stuff equipment we got, having laptops and cameras and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
because I've seen people on the internet and all that who started from like with nothing, with like the cheapest camera or even just a phone, and over time they started making money from what they were doing, and then they're able to buy better equipment to help them be the best, do it to the best of their ability.
But and that's a good thing, because you gotta learn to be comfortable where you are. You know, I can't afford to go out and buy a $10,000 camera. So you got to be comfortable where you start off at. You start off with your phone, and you learn how to work your way up. But a lot of times what happens with people, they go borrow money to do different things, and then they get in a hole, and they can't afford to take care of what it is that they call themselves investing in. And you invest in so many different things, but you find yourself just having things that you don't know what to do with them. So now you become discouraged, because what you got is not really making the money. And at one point, people got off with saying, oh, you're going to be a millionaire. Oh yeah, I see you as a millionaire, and different things like that, and they were pronouncing it. And then here you are 15 years down the road, and you still struggling to try to get your, what it is that God has given you up off the ground, because they didn't tell you that you got to crawl before you walk. And I think sometimes we overlook the steps to success. I think we overlook what it is that we must do to get where we want to get, simply because we're just looking at everybody else, and what everybody else has, opposed to looking at what God has given us, or what God has given, us to do. Instead of put whatever you seek to put your hands to, do it with everything that lies within you, to the best of your ability, opposed to looking at somebody across the street and saying, oh, I wish I had, oh, I wish I could. But those are things that we as a people, we can fix them, but we have to be comfortable. Our integrity must stay intact. Our mannerism, our beliefs must stay intact. We must believe that in God's own timing, and he gives us the desires of our heart. But you can't desire of you can't desire of something humongous, and then expect it to just
Manifest out of nowhere.
manifest out of nowhere. God can do anything, but God meets us where we are. If we don't have nothing but a bicycle mentality, then thank God for the bicycle. If we don't have nothing but a Volkswagen mentality, thank God for the Volkswagen. And then as time go on, and if it's in God's will for you to get a Lamborghini, or get, some of the, name brand cars.
Hot ladies.
Oh yeah, but people only look at, okay, I get this, and boy, people gonna be jealous of me. Or I get this, and people gonna be looking at me and telling me, oh man, that's a bad car. I never forget, one time when I had my Camaro, and I went into this neighborhood, and the little children, I let the top act. I used to just give the little children a ride, not because, I was trying to show off, but because it was just a car to me. And the children be, is that your Bugatti? That's your Bugatti? And I'm just looking at them. I said, what is a Bugatti? This is my car. This is a Camaro. This is not a Bugatti. It's a Camaro. And then I'm saying, I had to go back and do research on it. What is a Bugatti? I don't know what a Bugatti is. So maybe I'm riding a Bugatti and they know it and I don't. Because there's some things I don't know. So, but yeah, we gotta learn how to maintain what it is that we have. and being good stewards over what little we have. You know, it say little and then much, but we got to learn to appreciate the little that we have.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is most people don't appreciate where they are, as far as what car they may drive, what clothes they may wear, whatever it may be. And they don't take the time to appreciate and nurture those while they're there. Like for comparison, I think it's funny because the lady that I work for, she's been in business for a long time. She's, from what it seems, is pretty established, pretty self-made. And I could compare myself to her and go do the things that she does. But like for example, I drive a Honda. She drives a Mercedes.
Mm.
I probably spend $25 on a shirt, where she'll spend a couple $100 on a shirt. Different things like that, where people, they'll look at it and say, "Well, if she can do that, I can go do it." I don't mind spending $25 on my shirt. I don't know about anybody else. And when I get to the point where I can spend $200-$300 on a shirt, maybe I will. But a lot of people live above their means, if trying to show off for other people. And I know so many people like that, who do things only to look good for other people,
Mhm.
which to me has never made sense because I'm the one paying for it. So I think I should be the person who likes it the most,
Exactly.
if anything. So most people just live above their means. And that can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. Above your means could be your eating habits, that could be the car you drive, the apartment you stay in. If it's to the point where you cannot save every single paycheck and you are almost debt free, then you are living above your means, in my opinion.
Going back to the crawl before you walk situation. So I'm gonna bring out into my world because I do automotive type stuff. So throughout the years of me learning about automotive stuff and whatnot, I kept on hearing about people that were, they didn't actually go out there and practice or nothing like that. They didn't have the skill. They were just building something. They were building a vehicle that could perform at the highest level. But the problem with that is, one, they're burning themselves out by building this car that took years to build. Two, they didn't have the skill to drive it, so when they went out there and drove it, they couldn't handle it at all. They would crash it or something like that after they spent $200,000 worth of money and years of effort on this thing. And hey man, to get into this, I gotta build a car, I gotta do all this thing, I spend all this money. I ain't got money. I ain't even got a job yet. But then I started watching some other people that were preaching the opposite. They're saying don't do that. They're saying the only time you should do something like that is if you're trying to become a professional. You have the financial means to do so, and you have the skill to do so. But other than that, they say you want to start with something that is OEM, it's a factory vehicle, and you go with that. That way, you're not burning yourself out financially. It's cheap to maintain. You can buy normal stuff for it if it breaks, and it'd be very cost effective for you overall, so that you're not burning yourself out and hurting yourself over time, and possibly kill yourself by driving something you're not supposed to be driving. And that's with everything. It's just like what we're doing here. I used to be editing videos on my phone and stuff. Now I do it on the laptop. I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty hard. It's hard on the phone because I wouldn't say it's easy to record. It's hard on the phone because it takes a lot of power from the phone to edit that stuff. You got to process it, all that craziness, and you're looking at a little tiny screen for hours. But eventually you move up with the equipment, you get better, better, better. Just like we have all this stuff going on, which is pretty cool because you see how every time we do this, we get better and better and better with it. Even like we made our first shirt. That's a huge thing. You have to figure out how to do that and actually make it look like it's came from somebody's shop or something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's all about. Is you got to learn. You can't. We have got to stop comparing ourselves to other people. We have got to come to a place of understanding. It's okay to not have what everybody else has. We have got to fix it. We're the ones that have broken this system, and we've got to be the ones to fix it. We've got to come to a place of understanding that it's okay. It's okay. You're not driving one of the baddest cars in the country or the city. It's okay to not have the most expensive things. It's okay, and we gotta learn to feel good about not being okay. And that's one of the things that we as a people we're going to have to fix. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. We can fix it, but we gotta come to a place of understanding. We gotta change our mindset. We have got to get our mindset in a place as to where I'm not going to allow anybody to push me where I'm not willing to go.
That's
You
like,
know,
I was just about to say that's like what we was talking about Sunday with peer pressure, and it's not really peer pressure. They say it's you're misleading or
Manipulation.
your manipulation into doing something, and people find it hard to because you get scams all the time. It's
Yes.
amazing how many scam callers that you find, and people trying to take your information or how people sell your information if you go on different sites. It's just amazing how many people are out there getting paid by ripping people off.
yes, yes.
And I was like, I don't know how you find this many people in the world that will love to sit down and rip other people off out of their hard-earned money.
Because people love stuff for nothing. They've learned that it's easier for me to take advantage of somebody else. And the sad part about it, that's a way of life for some people. That's the way, a lot of people feel that, okay, they feel good about themselves. They don't have any guilt about it. Their conscience is no longer operating. So they okay with it. He said, well, how can you lay down and go to sleep at night and you've done somebody easy? That's a way of life for a lot of people. Getting over or misusing or mistreating people is become a way of life for so many people. But my thing is, and this is what I was taught as a child, what goes around comes around. And then I read the Bible. It said you're gonna reap what you sow. Whatever you sow. And I think sometimes people have forgotten that God is still in control. And that no matter what you do, you're gonna reap it. Whether you plant good seeds or bad seeds, you're gonna reap a harvest. And that's where we as the people of God must help enlighten others to understand that we have a broken system and we got to fix it. We have got to fix it. Can we fix it?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we can. We can fix it. But we got to have the will and the desire to want to fix it. We can't afford to keep going in the same direction that we're going in. We can't afford to keep allowing generation of people to be lost or to go down the same roads of disappointment and like. We got to become again a people of understanding and caring for one another. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. We can fix it. You just got to have a desire to want to fix it. We got to fix our financial woes by stop being so gung ho to try to be like everybody else. Enjoy where you are. We bring so much pressure and so much hardship to ourselves trying to become like somebody else or have what somebody else have. I drove a little Volkswagen Rabbit, and that was my first car, Volkswagen Rabbit. And I put my children in, and we were zooming all over the place. And my thing was, we no longer had the bum rides. So I was thankful for that little rabbit. And I believed God that God would take care of us. And He did. When I got rid of the little Volkswagen Rabbit, I got something else. But I never, ever forgot where God brought me from. He allowed me to endure and the laughs and the put downs. But I thank God I didn't let that bother me. You gotta sit your face as flint and not allow people to make you feel bad about what you got.
Well, yeah.
Now, I feel bad for the people that wear these raggedy clothes. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. Now I got a problem with that because you laughing at me because I don't have holy clothes. And I remember when people laughed at me because I was out there with the boys crawling around on the ground and got a hole in my knee in my jeans, and now mama gotta patch them up. Now it's a style. Good Lord, can we fix it? Can we fix it, Jesus? How in the world can we feel good about going backwards? I have an issue with it. I do apologize.
Because it's backwards for you, but for us, it's forward.
It's
It's
us.
it.
So you
Yeah.
wear holy jeans too?
I have a pair. I can't say I don't.
Wow.
I can't deny that one because it's a fashion and a trend. It's new for us. It's like how you see old TV shows. They reinvent them and make it new for the newer generation because it's old to y'all, but it's new for us.
Now I can really relate to the old and the new. I can relate to that. But see, y'all new is our old. And our old caused us hardship. And y'all,
We didn't know.
yeah,
I
but
think
That's
I
the
think the thing
thing.
about
We
that
don't
you
is-
should
know
have did
about it.
research. Execute intellectual curiosity.
I think the thing about that is because it wasn't a style.
Yeah.
It wasn't originally a style. It was just something that happened to people that may have been in poverty or an accident happened or something like that. You mess your clothes up your parents. Like that's it. That's what you got. It wasn't a style.
No.
It just people look back and they're like, we're running out of ideas. Let's try something.
Try something new.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's think of something. Let's just cut up clothes and we're gonna get folk to buy them. I don't care what
use
they're gonna
lasers.
buy.
Yeah.
They use lasers to like strategically cut.
Okay. Yeah, because they know somebody's gonna buy them. Somebody's gonna say, "Woo, that's a nice style." That's one of the things. We get into the trend of things, and we wanna be stylish, but it may be right, but is it righteous? Is it really? Does it make a statement to the negative? A negative view of things. I feel like this. Wear what you want to wear, you know, but then don't say nothing to me about what I want to wear. I like my hair. I love my hair. And people say, "Oh, why you leave me alone? I don't bother y'all about your clothes. I'm just saying. I don't bother you about your clothes. Don't bother me about my hair, okay? Then we can go on with life. We have fixed the problem that has been longing to be fixed. Let everybody be great in their own area. How about that?
That's funny.
Everybody be great. You want to wear holy clothes? Be great. I like it. I like it if you. I love it if you like it. Okay. Now that's a problem fixed. We fixed that one.
But no one's gonna be content with that because I get strangers who come up to me and ask me, "When you gonna take that out your head?"
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's how they
And
phrase it too.
Exactly. Exactly. All the time. Why you like that? Why, but we have got to come to a place. You got to be comfortable with who you are. People always say stuff to me about why I do this and why I do that. Why are you aggravating me? I'm not bothering you. Leave people to be great on their own. Allow yourself to be who you are and be content and love who God has created you to become. So I don't say anything to people about wearing a holy jeans. I just say it right here, and hopes that somebody hear me and want to change it, because we're leaving bad examples for our children. And to where say, "Mama, get up and go and work all day, and she can't afford to buy clothes, a whole pair of pants. She got to get a piece of pants." I'm gonna leave that alone. Huh? Get a little, get a little. You can't even patch this. That lets you know that something is gone really wrong. Mama could go to the store and buy a little patch and patch up that little hole we had, but these little holes, it's gonna take a whole makeover.
You know that used to be a style too, but it's no longer a style.
What used to be a style?
Patched pants.
Of course, because that's the way. That was back in the day. That was one of the things that we had to adopt to, because we I guess you could sew them up, but you didn't have, you had to use what you had, and so people made it a style. They and a lot of times people have taken the hardship of people and made it a thing as to where, okay, you can live through that, but it's not the same. It's not the same you putting a patch on your clothes as it was for me. I my thing was, I got on a pair of dry rot clothes, and now I'm playing around and it gives weight because it's dry rotted. I felt bad, but now people can feel good because what they're wearing their patches for, it's not because their clothes are dry rot. They're wearing it because they saw a picture of Annie Blue with patches on the clothes, so now it's a style. Okay, we're gonna sell that. Didn't know that was hardship. That was somebody, going through hard times. But how we can fix these situations. We can, but we got to put forth an initiative, effort to work things out, to be a better world. Integrity must come alive in the lives of people. Amen. Y'all got any last things y'all want to?
I wanted to give a story because I watched the lady who first started off. She's a cook. She's an excellent cook. I love her cooking and everything that she cooks. She came from her own brain. She can grade it. So it was her own style of what she felt like Southern food was. She started out in her own place in a big building. She had this big building but empty chairs. No one was coming in her building. No one knew she was there. Her advertisement wasn't so good. It's just like a little place in the corner. But unless you go in there, you will never know her food was good or that she was a good cook and that the place looked nice on the inside. It wasn't until she lost the building and got a regular old or like a regular old van and started cooking out of the van and posting up in different places that people started coming over and eating her food and found out it was the best food they ever tasted. Took her losing something to gain more.
Wow, that's awesome. So often we lose some things. We lose friends. We lose houses, cars. We lose a lot of things. But in our loss, it's a gain. My son told me that on the other day. He said, "You haven't really lost. You've gained." And I have to look at, it seems heartening when you lose something or you lose somebody or you're doing everything you can to try to make things better for others, and you lose the path that you're on, or they lose the path, and you can become so disheartened because of it. But thank God you really didn't lose, you gained, because you gained 10 more people that are willing to take that spot and move forward. Man. Well, we thank you. We've taken up your time, and we pray that we've said something that you can take with you for the rest of your life. We have situations that we need to fix. Our economy is just messed up. Gas prices are high. Food chains are being, it's just so much that's going wrong. But we, as the people that broke the systems, we can fix them. We just gotta go back to the basics, go back to God and ask God to give us wisdom and knowledge on how to fix circumstances that we have messed up in our lives. I pray that you would go knowing and showing in the things of God, that your heart would be lifted and your burdens become light. I pray these things. Be blessed. Keep watching us. The name of our podcast is Shaking the House. Can we fix it? Be blessed.